My pleasure to introduce you our speaker for this a very needed session, Ryan Zervakos. And then the title of the session is The Global Success on LinkedIn, Authentic Strategies for International Students. When we were looking for the speakers for LinkedIn, one of the collective, let me tell you really quickly, one of the collective, the members said, hey, you know what, we actually someone, working with LinkedIn and then training students about the LinkedIn. So that was like so awesome. And then Ryan said, yep, I'm in. So Ryan Zervakos is a Southern California native and attended the University of Southern California, which is like one of the collective members. So with the Navy Scholarship as part of the NROTC program. After graduating with a business degree, he was commissioned in the US Navy's flight program. Ryan settled back in Southern California in 2009, working in the e-learning industry. LinkedIn came along 7 years ago and then fit perfectly with his passion for learning, allowing him to live out the LinkedIn ethos, dream big, have fun, and get stuff done. So Ryan, stage is yours. We want to hear more about dreaming big, having fun, and then getting stuff done with your story. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thank you all for the invite. I am looking forward to chatting with you all today. What I want to do really is make this all about you all. So if you have questions, we can hold them to the end, or if you want to, shout them out or drop them in the chat, we can do that. I have 2 monitors, so it's easy for me to monitor this. I want to cover 4 topics with you all today. The first topic I want to cover is why you should be on LinkedIn. I think this is really important because we're all very busy and there's a lot on your plate. And so, of course, I'm going to tell you, you need to be on LinkedIn because I work for the company, right? So what I want to do is give you data, give you information so you can make the best decision for yourself. The second thing we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about your profile, your LinkedIn profile. From what I've seen, most students aren't doing it the right way, and it's because you've been taught the wrong way. And so what I want to do is I want to tell you how you can rethink your LinkedIn profile, and it's going to help you get where you want to go in your career. I promise you. The third thing we'll talk about is growing your network. Networking is super, super important. And so growing your network is going to help you get a job, and LinkedIn can help you do that. Then the final thing we'll talk about is content, putting content on LinkedIn. Because LinkedIn, after all, is a social media platform. So the first thing I want to do when we start this conversation is I want to ask you all a few questions and just get some answers for you all. So you feel free to shout them out or drop them in the chat. The first question I have for you all is, can anybody tell me how they think LinkedIn makes money? What do you think our business model is so that we make money? Does anybody know or want to guess? Should I put some Jeopardy music up in the background? So we collect data. Oh my gosh. That is true, but we don't sell the data. That is true, but we don't sell the data. Ads out of Victoria. That is the most popular. Nicholas, premium, second most popular. Ads and premium are where most people think. LinkedIn employers to employee. Andrea, I don't know if I pronounced your name correctly, but that is pretty much so correct. So most people think of ads or LinkedIn Premium. We do make money on advertisements, but it's not our biggest business line. We do make money on premium, but it's not our biggest business line. When you think of LinkedIn Premium, I want you to know that LinkedIn Premium is very expensive and it is not really necessary for what I'm going to show you today. Everything I'm going to show you today is free. So I don't recommend it, number one. Number two, we just passed 1 billion members on LinkedIn. Only 3% pay for premium, 3%, that's it. It's not really designed for students. It's designed for people with 5 to 10 years of work experience. Advertisements, big line of business, not our biggest. Our biggest line of business is our recruiters. We charge corporate America, we charge anybody who wants to use LinkedIn to find talent. We charge them for that privilege. So anytime that you have a recruiter reach out to you, they're paying LinkedIn for that. And they don't pay one, it's not one, they pay for a year. They have to buy in for at least 1 year or more. Now, that's all fine and good. If I say our biggest business line is recruiters, but we need to kind of have some context around that. So the next question I have for you all is, can anybody guess how many or what percentage of Fortune 500 companies pay LinkedIn to find you? What percentage of Fortune 500 companies are paying to use our recruiting service to find you? Anybody want to guess? 100%. I like that. I like that. Oscar and Dorothy, I love that you're going for 100%. You're very close. The answer is, Anna Victoria, the majority. I like how you hedge your bets there. Very good. The answer is 97%. It's actually 97%. 90% of corporate recruiters are using LinkedIn to find talent. I live in California. Over 90% of working age Californians have a LinkedIn profile. Now, I want to take a second to let you know that LinkedIn is different than other social media platforms. And again, yes, I'm biased, but I want to give you information so that you know that I'm not just like, telling you stuff that I can't back up. When I think of LinkedIn, when I think of saying a statistic like all these people have our profiles, it's important for you to know that we eliminate 99% of fake profiles. We are not like Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, or any of these others where you can create all of these multiple profiles and hide behind a veil of anonymity. You have a public facing profile and there's only one. And we only allow 3 direct messages per month, period, unless you have premium. And even then, it's only 5. So we are a different type of platform. So even with this really high bar to get a profile, we have 1 billion members worldwide. We're growing at a rate of 3 new members per second. So it's crazy fast. Now, another reason why it's important to be on LinkedIn is because of the difference between LinkedIn and a resume. All right. All of you are familiar with resumes. Resumes are a tool designed to do one thing, and that is to weed people out. It's all resumes are designed to do. And so I'm going to ask one last question, and then you'll I promise you don't have to answer any more questions. What do you think the most popular first interview question is? Does anybody know? Anybody want to guess? Yeah, whoever said that, you're spot on. Tell me about yourself is the answer. That is the most popular first interview question. And so the reason for this, right, is because the resume doesn't do that. The resume doesn't tell them about you. It doesn't tell them whether you're going to be a hard worker. It doesn't tell them whether you have a positive attitude. It doesn't tell them whether you're going to be resilient. It doesn't tell them about your character, about your integrity. It doesn't tell them about that. Nobody wants to work with people they don't like. Would you agree? I mean, you don't want to work with people you don't like, right? So the first question you get asked in an interview is, tell me about yourself. Do you pass the vibe check? Now, a resume absolutely does not do that. A resume does the exact opposite. A resume is designed to do one thing and one thing only: weed people out. Do you have the right experiences, and do you have the right qualifications? Yes, you're in this pile. That doesn't mean you're gonna get the job. You just got the interview, right? Or you just got past the first stage. How do you actually get to the interview? Well, that's where they go to LinkedIn. They're going to LinkedIn to find people, and they want to know a little bit more about you. Now, I'm going to drop my name in the chat here real quickly. So you all are more than welcome to connect with me if you'd like. I want to do that now before I forget. So feel free to connect with me if you'd like. Okay, so we've talked about the why. Really quickly, I want you all just to think of this. This is a rhetorical question. Today, given the information I told you, that 97% of Fortune 500 companies are paying us to find you. 90% of recruiters use us to find you. 93% of people in California have a LinkedIn profile. Resumes don't do a good job of answering that first question. You got to think that the probability of somebody looking at your LinkedIn profile before you ever get interviewed is pretty much so 100%. If you're applying for a job in an office today and beyond, the probability that somebody's going to look at your LinkedIn profile is basically 100%. So the question you have to ask yourself is, what do you want them to see when they get to your LinkedIn profile? Do you want them to see resume you, or do you want them to see complete big picture you? And that's the difference. That is why you should be on LinkedIn and what you can do with LinkedIn. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to go in and show you some profiles of people. Let me zoom in just a little bit because Zoom is kind of small on your end, more than likely. Okay, so the first person I want to show you is Tammy. First thing you need to know is you need to have a profile picture. It's super important to have a profile picture. You know, it's just the first thing that they're going to see is your picture and your background photo. So you want to have a nice background photo and a nice profile picture. Your headline should be something a little bit more aspirational than this, but Tammy's out of college now, so she's had a job for a couple of years, and so she doesn't need to be aspirational anymore. She already has her job. If you don't have the job that you want, this headline is a great place for you to start telling people where you want to go in your career, what you want to do, what you bring to the table. Let's look at the about section. In my opinion, this is the most important section for any young student. For any student, this is the most important section. This is going to answer the question, tell me about yourself. So let's look at what she said. She says, Harry Potter taught me English when I first immigrated to the Bay Area. She talks about being a passionate learner and jumping straight into teaching myself English and becoming obsessed with the way stories are told and how they connect people from all backgrounds. She goes on to say, I want to connect individuals to something bigger than themselves, the way Harry Potter colored my world with magic and taught me the basis I need to achieve the American dream. This is a really authentic, vulnerable, beautiful about section. Tammy is proud of the fact that she's an immigrant. When I first met her, her goal was to work for a Hollywood studio. She lives in California here. Her goal was to work for a Hollywood studio. Now, all of you, I can imagine, would understand that trying to get a job for a Hollywood studio is going to be hard because everybody wants a job for a Hollywood studio. Same with like big tech companies and all these great companies. Everybody wants those jobs. So you're competing with thousands and thousands of people for every single job. How do you differentiate yourself? LinkedIn is how you differentiate yourself. When I met Tammy, she said that she was passionate about digital marketing, passionate about movies. Anybody can say that. When I asked her why is she passionate about it, then she said, well, man, when I moved here, I couldn't speak English. And Harry Potter taught me English. And Harry Potter, gave me hope. That is something, if you're in the movie business and you're working for a studio, you want people to work for you that feel that way. That's what you want. And you can't put that on a resume. She put this on her profile. And as you can see, she now works for Disney. This is her first job. It's technically her second job. I can explain this later if you're interested. But basically, she was only at work for like a month and a half, 2 months. Disney is basically the first job she got out of college. 2 people came up to her after the interview and said how much they loved her profile. Do you think that this helped her or hurt her? The answer is obvious. Being honest and being authentic and telling your story helps you. It helped her. Let me show you some others. This is Sarah. Let's look at her about section. She says, around my neck on a thin red cord, a tiny jade lock and key was placed by my biological parents in the busy streets of China. She talks about what the necklace symbolizes for her and what she wants to do for others. And then she says, my positive attitude derives from the gift I was given when I was adopted at the age of 2.5 years old. Just for the record, the first company to hire her out of school, Google. She also went from there to Microsoft for 2.5 years, and she's now at another company. That is the power of LinkedIn. It gives you a voice. Here's Pauline. Here she says she's a storyteller and customer obsessed. I love that. Look at her background photo. Fantastic. Profile picture. Great. Boom. Taking a non-traditional path has helped me differentiate myself from others and help people like me along the way. As an immigrant from the Philippines, I grew up in an environment and a culture that is different from the US because of its emphasis on community. She says, this has influenced me to join communities and organizations with the same shared value of empowering minority communities. She goes on to talk about her life in community college and what she's doing now. Very, very powerful. And she got a great job out of college, of course. Within the featured section is completely underutilized by most people, especially by students. This featured section allows you to embed anything, pretty much anything. If you have a marketing project or a video or a resume or a thesis, yeah, I don't know, a essay you want to write, right? Or a blog post. Or if you're a social media champion and you want to link to TikTok and you want to link to IG, you can do that here in LinkedIn. As long as it's professional, right? As long as it's relating to where you want to go professionally, not just personally, right? That's what you can do in the featured section. By the way, Tammy, when she was in college, not all, but most of her college marketing projects were right here in LinkedIn. So any recruiter, any hiring manager could take a look at Tammy's profile and not only see that she's an immigrant, she has a true passion and desire to be impactful in the movie business, but she also showed her work. That's crazy, right? That is a true game changer. It makes a huge, huge difference. So these sections, right? The background photo, the profile picture, the headline, the about section, the featured section. These are all stuff you cannot do on a resume. None of this you can do on a resume. You can do it on LinkedIn. It's designed to give you a chance, differentiate you from the next person. This is Kayla. Investing in myself now to help create a better tomorrow. Fantastic headline. Background photo. Fantastic background photo as well. Very, very good. Here she goes on to say, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never get how you made them feel. It's a quote by Maya Angelou. And she goes on to talk about how that impacts her, what she did in high school. She's a Polynesian dancer, played tennis, all that other good stuff. This is the power of LinkedIn. It gives you a voice. Does anybody have any questions before I move on to a little bit more in the experience in the profile section? I'm gonna take a sip. Mia, go ahead.
Hi, Ryan. I have a question on the background picture. So,
Sure.
exactly what information is best for us to include there, or we can use it in different ways? What's your advice?
Oh, that's a really good question, Mia. So here's what I think, right? I want you to be creative and showcase your personality. Now, in this case, Kayla this is a Canva template. So Canva is a software tool out there. I think you can download it for free, and this template is free. So you can use a Canva template like this, or you can do what Pauline did and you can create your own, or you can, wait a minute, who's the other one? Nicole. Let's see, Nicole's. Like Nicole she's proud of the school that she's going to, so she uses that background photo. So what I want you to think about your background photo is, what kind of story do you want to tell people? Do you want to make it mainly academic focused and you're proud of your campus? Awesome. Do you love Disney or Nike or you? Awesome. But here's the beauty about this, Mia. It's your story to tell, and you get to say what you want to say. It's not unprofessional to be creative. I hope that helps. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Now, real quickly, I want to show everybody how you do this. So what you do is you go into View Profile. Underneath View Profile, there is this pencil. Click on this pencil and then click on Change Photo. And here's where you upload any photo that you want to. We also have custom backgrounds, or off-the-shelf backgrounds, I should say. So you can show that you are for equity. We have a thing in LinkedIn where you can go and you can put your gender and ethnicity and all that if you want to. You can show you're an ally to the disabled community, the Latino community, Stop Asian Hate Movement, Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ. So if you want to just do this, Mia, you can do that as well. But I love it if you're a little bit more creative, to be honest with you. It's just a little bit more creative. Okay, is it copy or Cappy?
Yeah, it's copy.
Copy.
Hi.
Go for it, my man.
Yeah. Hi. So I wanted to ask, what's the headline in my profile is supposed to be? So I'm trying to reach out and to find a job in the robotics scenery. So because it's a wide enough area, wide enough field where I'm not associated to like one particular job role. So what should be my headline in that case? Should I make it a more general that I'm inspired by robotics, or in or something which I would want to work in, specific to something like that? Just wanted to get your ideas on it.
I like that question, Copy, because it really is unique. It really can be whatever you want it to be. But here's what I think I would do in your situation, right? I think your headline can accomplish one of two different things, or maybe both. The first is showcasing personality, right? The second is giving an idea of where you want to go in your career, right? So if you look at Nicole's, she says seeking opportunities to make a positive impact. That's pretty general, but it starts giving you the idea of her personality. You could say, like I had one student say, looking to make an impact in marketing or digital marketing.
Okay.
You could say, you know, robotics is my dream. I want to, you know, be a part of a company that is looking to the future, right? So I want you to get away from this idea of you need to put the school that you go to and the internship that you've had and make it more conversational. So that's all it is. It like there's really no wrong answer, Copy. No wrong answer. You just get to do what you feel is best. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, you too. Yeah. Christina.
Hi there.
Hi.
My question is, when it comes to the about section, which seems to be kind of centered around personal narratives, should we steer clear of disclosing too much information? So, for example, I'm interested in biomedical engineering, and my particular experience with a certain disease and using biomedical inventions inspired me, but I'm worried that disclosing that type of information would create bias with employers. Like, what do you think?
Meaning that they would think that you're pigeonholing yourself?
No, just in terms of because there's certain like protected topics you can't ask, like potential employees, like sexuality, marital status, things like that. Like I'm worried disclosing that information would hurt my chances rather than help me.
Right. So this is a really great question, Christina, and Philip dropped a question in the chat that is kind of along the same lines. And here's the deal, right? So you're thinking of this as if it's a resume, right? Resumes, you're not allowed to do certain things because of bias and because of bias is what it boils down to. We can't get rid of bias. We can't get rid of racism. We just can't. And so when you think about what I want you to think about is I want you to think about what you would tell any normal human being, right? Not just a recruiter, not just a hiring manager, but any person that is interested in who you are as a person and and what you've done in your career and what you've done in your life. It's conversational. That's what I want you to do. And if you're proud of what you did, which by the way, it sounds unbelievable, I want you to tell that story. That's not going to hurt you on LinkedIn. And I don't think it will be a bad thing. Just like putting your picture on LinkedIn is not a bad thing, it's a good thing. Here's the fact of the matter, right? There are always going to be people out there that are going to judge you based on how you look. We can't get away from that. And today in 2023, if somebody wants to see what you look like, they're going to find it. I mean, unless you're a hermit, they can find it. Somebody's probably taken a picture of you, tagged you in a photo, and you're on some public place. It's just a fact. So when you think about LinkedIn, everybody starts thinking about LinkedIn as if it is a resume. It's not. It is a place for you to showcase your life and your professional experiences and how you want them to be seen and how you want them to be portrayed. So I want you to, this is the biggest difference. So my daughter is roughly your age. She just graduated from college and she worked in career services for a very long time. She's very good at resumes, and she's applying for resumes during her gap year right now, applying for jobs during her gap year right now. And she's tailoring her resume to every single job. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to try to tailor your resume to every single job. People go with that mentality onto LinkedIn. I need to make sure that I'm saying the right words to get the right job so I don't piss somebody off. That's I don't want you to have that mentality. I want you to put yourself out there and be as authentic as possible. Because if your authentic self brushes somebody the wrong way and pisses somebody off, you don't want to work for them. You just don't, because they're not going to vibe with you. And so that's what I think. I think there's more opportunity now than ever before. There's also more competition, exponentially more difficult now than it has ever been. So even though there's more opportunity, way more competition. But you have a chance to be yourself. And so I want you to do that. I know it's a long answer to a short question, but I want you to be proud of what you've done and say the words that you want people to know about you, and not worry if it rubs somebody the wrong way, because if it does, you don't want to work with them. Same thing, Philip. I want you to know one thing, a couple of things about what LinkedIn is trying to do to mitigate bias. First of all, this recruiter tool right here, this is what people pay for to go on LinkedIn, to use LinkedIn. We now anonymize underrepresented people and people with different names because they don't get sought after as often because of bias. And so once we did that, we do it automatically. It increased it by 5x the number of times that people of color or minorities get reached out to on LinkedIn. We also have a new feature that anonymizes everybody for recruiters only, right? Remember, this is a platform for you to grow your network and to connect with people. When you're trying to connect with people, grow your network, if you have no picture, then what are you trying to hide, right? This is not a resume. And so it's important for you to take and be proud of who you are and understand that life isn't perfect, but you control your own destiny on LinkedIn, okay? I think it's Ese, E-S-E.
Yeah, thank you so much. I had a question about, obviously being an international student, should you on your profile at any point, highlight that fact? Maybe it's the
Yes.
about or the I don't know.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, I work with international students. I work with, I've mentored and coached some international students, and it's a little bit more difficult, right? A lot of times you have to get sponsored for the job that you're going to get, right? And so, you have to confront that. You have to put that out there because it's going to come up in an interview anyway, right? There's no reason to go down an interview process if a company can't sponsor you. So I feel like you should put it out there. I think it gives context to the reader as to what kind of personality you have and what differentiates you from the next person, from somebody who was born and raised in LA and never left LA. You have a much different perspective as an international student, as a person who's traveled and seen different cultures. So I think 100% you should be proud of that. In fact, I mean, this is Nicole's about section, and she talks about moving to Venezuela when she was 10. And living in Venezuela with her family and how that impacted her. 100% be proud of it, own it, love it. I think it's Andres, is it Vive? I didn't pronounce your name correctly, I apologize.
Oh, you did. Thank you very much.
Oh, cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is Andres from Argentina. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, what
Ryan.
What question do you have? Yes.
Well, I'm kind of into minds about something. I work as the government affairs director for a multinational ag inputs company in the Southern Cone, Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, Bolivia. And most of my professional achievements, and they're worth lots of millions of dollars, are classified, are confidential. I don't brag about a new regulation. I don't brag about a new business I achieved, because that's not what we do. We just do the job, get the business done, then we continue the relation with stakeholders. So what I am professionally, and my largest achievements are huge, I just don't post them because it's not the thing you do. And at the same time, I'm transitioning into more specifically the environmental arena, environmental policy, environmental risk management. And even when I'm 44 and I'm studying at Johns Hopkins, a very good Masters of Science, I don't have a great track record to show there. So my LinkedIn is, I swear, I'm fantastic. I'm enthusiastic. I have every... Well, I just cannot tell you too much about it, because on one side, I don't do that. On the other side, I still don't have a track record. So
Mhm.
how would you suggest me to bridge? Maybe some other people are in mid-career changes as well.
Mhm.
How would you suggest to bridge that? Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, the deal is this, right? If you think about LinkedIn as a place for you to share your story, it doesn't necessarily have to be about bragging and about saying I closed this deal and I accomplished this, and this. Although I do think you could frame your accomplishments in a certain way where you're not giving away what you've done, right? Because they're if it's classified, it's classified, but you can maybe talk about things that aren't classified. But here's what it boils down to, right? Within the about section, within the featured section, within LinkedIn in general, you have a chance to articulate and say your story, just like you did right now, my friend. That's great. And so whether it's when you're posting content or whether it's when you're reaching out to people, which I'll show you how to do it right now, whether it's in your experience section, which we'll go to the experience section. Let me just show you real quick. I'm going to go to another student right here within the experience section. Most people think of this as a resume, and you can tell a story within your experience section as well. So what I would be doing if I were you is I would be storytelling about your upbringing, about what you've done, where you're going, where you want to go, what you're learning, what you do outside of work, because your personality is super important. So that's what I would do if I were you. I know it's not a perfect solution, but at the same time, what you're doing here is you're going to be planting seeds for every single person that looks at your profile to know where you've been, where you want to go. That's what it is. And trust me, a lot of people do mid-career changes. That's not a bad thing to do, a mid-career change. I would own that and be proud of it. I hope that helps.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Manasa, how important do you think endorsements are for skills section? Good question. They're not important at all. Because my mom has endorsed me for sales, and it's my mom. So recommendations are much more important. A recommendation, and I'll show you on my profile here. So endorsements are when people say, yeah, Ryan is a salesperson. Yeah, I endorsed him. A recommendation is like a letter of recommendation. That holds more, that's more weight. That's much better. So if you can get recommendations, I would do it. Let me go back over here, and I want to do one last thing on the talking about the LinkedIn profile, and then we're going to move to the third thing I want to talk about, which is growing your network. This is a great way to frame your experience if you don't have a lot of like accomplishments, or you have a lot of responsibility, which a lot of internships don't have a lot of responsibility. You're just there to learn. So she said, this is Chelsea, she says, I interned at NBC Universal with hopes of gaining exposure into the entertainment industry. I wanted to work there because of its strong company culture, its focus on DE&I, its ERGs, its commitment to social impact. She talks about falling in love with the fast-paced environment, gaining confidence. She was able to learn about the entertainment industry. She worked on different projects, and she talks about those projects. This is what I'm talking about, where you have the ability to say a story and not just be put into a box like you are in a resume, right? You can say what you want to say and tell people what's important to you about why you worked there. What did you learn while you were there? Why did you enjoy working there? Any one of us can tell that story. Even if it's classified, you can say, this is why I liked working there, because I got to work with these types of people, and I got to do these types of things. Even though I can't tell you anything about it because it's classified, this is why I worked there. This is the type of culture we had. All of that stuff you can do for free. All right. Now, you also can add skills to your experience section in here. I want you to know that the more words that you put on LinkedIn, the more likely somebody is going to find you on LinkedIn. That's how our recruiter module works. We search every single word of LinkedIn. So if anybody tells you you put too much information, they're wrong. All right. The other thing is this: when you write a lot of information, nobody's going to think you just uploaded your resume. So this is going to give a good first impression. Okay. How long should this summary part be, and what are all topics should be covered? Summary, if you do a summary that's a 1 to 2 minute read or 3 minute read, I think that's great. It's totally up to you what you want to do. And all the topics, honestly, it should be personal and professional. It should just give the reader an understanding of who you are, not just at work, not just at school, but as a human being. Okay. Now, let's go into growing your network. Now, every single, I shouldn't say every single, but virtually every single college or university has a LinkedIn page. And I think it's Bibe, you said Johns Hopkins University. I think that's what you said. So we'll use that. If somebody else wants to drop a university that they're going to right now, you're more than welcome to do that. We can do this on the fly. Virtually every single university and college has this school page. Within this school page is this alumni tab. Within this alumni tab is designed to do one thing. It's designed to help you grow your network. Here, in this case, there are 128,000 people that have gone to Johns Hopkins. You can see where they're working. You can see where they live. You can see what they do for a living. So let's say you want to work for a certain company. So somebody drop a name of a company in the chat that they'd love to work for. Anybody? What's a company you'd love to work for? Does anybody have a company they want to work? Google. Okay. Well, that one's easy. I appreciate that, Andrea, because it's right here. But let's do another one. It's a little bit harder. Boston Dynamics, Gate Foundation, 23andMe, 3M, BCG, MIA. All right. Let's do BCG. BCG. Oops, that's a BCH. BCG. Boston Consulting Group. I bet you there are a lot. 82. Boom. What do you want to do at Boston Consulting? Well, let's say you want to be in consulting. There are 16 people that have gone to Johns Hopkins that are working in consulting at BCG. You come down here. Oops. You come down here and you connect with them. Consultant, consultant, consultant. Click on their name. Click on their name. Click on what you want to do is you want to connect with them. If you're doing this on a mobile device, okay? If you're doing this on a mobile device, you don't want to tap on this. You don't want to tap on connect. You want to tap on their name and then tap on the 3 dots and it'll say personalized invitation. Once you do that, you can add a note and you should add a simple note. I'm a current student. Why am I reaching out? That's it. I'm a current student. Why am I reaching out? You know, I noticed you're working at BCG. It's a dream company of mine to work there. Do you have 5 minutes for an informational interview? Would love to chat. That's it. It's that simple. All right. Super, super easy to do. Oops, I went back too far. And we can pick any school, right? We can pick USC, right? We can go to the alumni tab on USC. And there are, I don't know how many, 340,000. And we got 3M, 23andMe, Gates, Boston Dynamics, OpenAI, Global Giant, all of these, right? Almost all of these. Ooh, let's see if anybody's working. Ooh, that's a tough one. Oh, 12 people are working, right? Super easy. Go down here, click on them, and then try to connect with them. Growing your network is going to help you. Now, here's the other thing, right? What do you want people to see when you're trying to grow your network? Do you want them to see resume you, or do you want them to see the real you? With real personality and real feelings and emotions, right? That's what you want. You want people to see the real you. So the more you're honest and more you're authentic, the better. Because growing your network is super important. It's going to help you get a job. Trust me when I tell you this. We did a study and we looked at 15 million profiles of people who graduated within the last 5 years. And we found out that within the first year of graduation, that we looked at all the jobs that they got hired at, and that within the first year of graduation, if you have a first-degree connection at the job at which you apply, meaning somebody connects with you, you're 8 times more likely to work there. Almost 7.8 times, 7.8x. That's bananas. That's like crazy. Having a first-degree connection gives you opportunity. And for those of you that are international students, you need that. You need a connection more than ever, because you need people to advocate for you. That's what you need. So super important to be able to have to grow your network and to be in a position where you control your destiny. You can also follow companies. So let's see, we've got Siemens, right? S-I-E-M-E-S. Siemens, boom. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to see that they have this beautiful page. Here's a pro tip for you all. This Life tab, any company that has this Life tab is paying LinkedIn for this Life tab. This is not free. Underneath the Life tab, what this does is it gives you an opportunity to see what is life like at that organization. Do they have ERGs? Do they have benefits? All this good stuff. Like, is it cool to work there? There's one other thing that is important to you. If you scroll down here, keep scrolling down, this is a brand new feature where you can say, I'm interested in working there. You can raise your hand. If they have this Life page, they also have this recruiter. And the recruiters can see who has said they want to work for that company. That is free. You can also go on here and you can follow this company and you can see all of the posts that they've done. And then when they post content, you can like it and you can comment on it. Super easy. You can go over here to the posts. Oh man, something went wrong. Oh no. You can go over here to the posts and you can see what they're doing here. 729 likes, only 10 comments. 10 comments, that's it, right? So much you can do when you think about growing your network and doing what you want to do, right? This is the power of LinkedIn. It gives you opportunity. Does anybody have any questions about growing your network and how to grow your network from what I just covered? Anybody? Oh, Mia, did you have another question?
Yes, I'm trying to use the alumni feature, but how do I actually see the profiles of the people from my college?
Okay, so do you have a relatively new LinkedIn profile?
I have it for 2 years or a year
You have
and
it
a
2
half.
years? How many followers do you have? I mean, how many connections do you have?
I think 430.
Oh, wow. You shouldn't have that problem. You should be able to see them. Message me, connect with me and message me, and I'll put in a ticket and you should not have a problem. The only time that you have a problem seeing the people tab or the alumni tab is if you are very new to LinkedIn and you don't have a lot of network, because we want to make sure that you're a real person. So that really surprises me, Mia, because you've had it for 2 years, you've got 400 people in your network. These should pop up. That's probably an issue. So message me and I will put in a ticket for you, okay? Christina, go ahead.
My question is, when should you use the difference between connect and follow for people that you don't know well, but you kind of met them through, say, like a career event or things like that?
I think you should connect with anybody that you possibly can, because connecting is a two-way street. When you, let's say, Christina, you connect with me. Now, what happens is that you can message me at any time. I can message you at any time. Anytime you post content, because we're connected, when you post content, goes right into my feed, right in here, okay? If you're just following me, it's a one-way street. Or if I'm just following you, right? If I'm following you, then all I get to see your content. I can comment on your content, but you don't see my content and we can't message each other. Remember, you can only get 3 direct messages, 3 DMs per month, total, not per person, total. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're giving yourself the best opportunity. So I would try to connect with people and I would drop in that message as why you're trying to connect. And that's what I would do. Yeah. Follow is really like, I follow Bill Gates, I follow Barack Obama. You know, those influencers, those people you're not going to be able to, you're more than likely not going to be able to do. So, sorry, I needed to like that real quick. That's what I would do. Anna Victoria mentioned that you need to double click on the company institution and they'll pop up below. I hope that is true for you, Mia. when you're looking at the alumni or the people tab. That should work for you. Let's see, Greenfield, is LinkedIn algorithm biased towards people with more connections? No, it is not. We want to try to level the playing field. And so when you say the LinkedIn algorithm, you know, I'm thinking of this recruiter tool right here, because the recruiter tool is what's meant to try to help you get a job, right? So there are two big ways that we can help you get a job. One is this recruiter tool where people will search for you. It doesn't matter if you have one connection or 30,000 connections. If you have the qualifications that they're looking for, that they're searching for, you will come up in their search. There's no algorithm for that. When it comes to the pushing, right? So we have that pull where they're asking you. We also have a push, which are job advertisements. Those job ads go in front of you no matter what your network is too. They're based on your profile. That's why your profile is super important, y'all. Doesn't matter how many people are in your network. Your profile is super important because the algorithm is based on what you put in your LinkedIn profile. If you don't have a lot of information, we're flying blind. We don't know. Okay? So that's the key. It's not just necessarily your network. It is what's in your profile. Is it a numbers game too? Yes. Philip, it is a numbers game. I think it's a numbers game when you're talking about your profile and your network. Okay, because you never know when you're connected to somebody that somebody can help you. All right. I just think you should be reaching out maybe 5 times a day to grow your network. What is the best way to get somebody's connection request with a note? I think you should start, if you're a current student, you should start with that. I'm a current student, and then immediately follow up with why you're reaching out. You know, we've gone to the same school, you have a job, you're working for a company that I love, would love to know what life is like over there. Or, you know, you're doing the job that I want to do and I'm trying to grow my network with people just like you. Something like that. Make it short and sweet and put it out there. Remember, what is the worst thing that can happen if you do a connection request? They ghost you. That's the worst thing that can happen. Okay. The best thing is that they're going to accept your connection request and go from there. Mahima, how does LinkedIn Easy Apply work? Is it recommended? So that is, they have to, the client has to pay for LinkedIn jobs, and then they have to turn that on. They have to decide if they want Easy Apply. All Easy Apply does is it allows us to funnel your resume and your LinkedIn profile directly to their applicant tracking system. So it saves you a step in the process. That's all it does. And if LinkedIn Easy Apply is available, it is recommended, because it's going to be easier for you than what it boils down to. You can connect with recruiters, but I know a few. I have a few mentees that are recruiters, and they kind of see through that. No offense, but they see through that. You know, they know why you're connecting with them. And so I think, you know, following recruiters and being engaged with them and being organic with them, I shouldn't say organic, authentic with them, is more important than just trying to connect with them. One of Sarah, the second person I showed you, she's been a recruiter for years, and she's like, Ryan, my job isn't to help the people that reach out to me. My job is to help the company I work for. That's my job. So, it's not going to be super successful. Here's what I would do instead. I keep getting mid-senior position recommendation. I'm looking for an entry-level position. When you're searching for a job, you can put in a filter, but it's been a while since I've done that. But you can put what you're looking for in the job section, but I can't remember how. But yeah, we're trying to do our best with our algorithm to get jobs that are relevant to you. They're just a billion people. We're not going to be perfect, unfortunately, my man. Let me introduce you to Ariana. So Ariana is a mentee of mine. I met her when she was going to school in San Diego, and I want to tell you how she got this job at Super Purposes. All right, and this is about growing your network. What she did is she applied for the job on LinkedIn, and then she clicked on this, and she went to Super Purposes. She went to the People tab, and she saw that there are only 178 people that work there, and she's like, "It's a small company. I'm gonna try to connect with the CEO." So she found the CEO, and she did a connection request. In the connection request, she said this simple thing: "Hi, my name is Ariana. I'm a current student. I just applied for your internship and I would love an opportunity to interview. Thank you. That was it. Now, remember what we said, right? Ariana's profile has changed a little bit since I mentored her, because she's been out of school now for 2 or 3 years. But when she was in school, she talked about being a first-gen Latina. She talked about, the fact that her family's an immigrant. She wrote blog posts on LinkedIn. She talked about all the work that she did in school and her grit and determination, and she told her story. This is a rhetorical question for everybody on the call, but when you're on social media and somebody that you don't know, some random person tries to follow you and you're on private mode, you're probably going to look at their profile before you accept them, right? You're probably not just going to be like, I'm going to accept this person on social. You're going to look at their profile. Is this a real person? Do they have their own, do they have followers? Are they a ghost, right? Same thing on LinkedIn. The reason why I start with the profile and I spend 20 minutes on the profile is because that's the most important thing. When you're trying to grow your network, the first thing people are going to do is look at your profile. And if you have a resume as a profile, that's not going to help you very much. If you don't have a very good profile, it's not going to help you. But if you start talking about your life and where you're going and what you're doing, you're an international student, you're mid-career, you love doing things outside of work and school, that's charming. That people want to know who they're talking to. What ended up happening here is the CEO was really impressed with Ariana's profile, and she was also impressed with Ariana reaching out to her. So what she did is she responded to Ariana. She accepted her connection request, the CEO. She responded back to her, and she said, no student has ever done that before. Be ready for an interview on Monday. She got the interview on Monday and got the job on the spot. That is how you use LinkedIn. Any one of you can do that. It is free, and there's no downside to reaching out to people. Shoot your shot. Any questions? Any questions before I go on? Okay. Last thing I want to talk about real quick with the last 5 minutes, because we've been answering questions along the way. I was supposed to do Q&A, but I think we've just been answering questions along the way, is posting content. When you post content, you just click on Start a Post. Premium, this is part of Premium. So I don't want you to worry about AI, generative AI. It's not a big deal. Here's where you can share your thoughts. So if you want to talk about an internship that you had, or if you want to talk about the fact that you're changing careers, you want to talk about an article that you've read, or you want to follow somebody else and share their content, you can do that all here. It's super easy. I'm sure you've all posted content, right? You tap whatever you want. You can tag people. It doesn't matter, right? You can do hashtags. You can copy and paste other things. So if we do LA Times, copy, paste. Now we've got LA Times in here. And you can see that the URL is there. So you can be like, I just read this article, blah, 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 right? That's how easy it is to post content on LinkedIn. And when you post content, it helps you grow your network. When you post content, other people see it. And that's all you can do, is start putting yourself in a position where you get to grow your network, right? You put in a position where you're putting your subject matter expertise out there. That's what you're trying to do. And when you do that, occasionally people are going to look at, who is this person? What is she doing, or what is he doing? And they see your profile and they grow their network. And you never know, you may have a recruiter reach out to you. There is no filter for H-1B jobs. Yeah. Should you post more or be more active on your feed? Okay. This is not like TikTok. If you post one time per week, your own post or resharing, like if I want to reshare this post, I can repost this with my own thoughts. This is considered my own post. If you do that one time per week, you're in the top 0.05% of everybody on LinkedIn. You don't want to post more than once a day. Once a day is tops. All right. So you will be seen by recruiters more often if you post, but you don't need to post every single second. Okay. Cool. Well, we are at the top of the hour. Do y'all have any questions for the last 3 minutes of this workshop? Go ahead, Edward.
Hello.
Hi.
I had a question about the. I have LinkedIn Premium, and I am about to obtain the community top voice badge.
Mhm.
Like, what do you think about that? Like, I know that it's not like important in terms of, or maybe it might be, but in terms of getting a job, but more like maybe getting paid by LinkedIn themselves or something, like what X is doing, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, being a top voice is, it's cool because you can start maybe monetizing it down the road. I mean, basically, the more often you're on LinkedIn and the more people see you, the more opportunities going to come your way. So that's great. I mean, that just means that you're engaging with LinkedIn quite a bit. You're posting some really good content, and you're being seen by our editors, and our algorithm is looking at your content and saying that we want to showcase more of you. So I think that's great, man. Yeah, there's no real downside to that.
Okay, thank you,
Uh,
thank you.
Manasa, go ahead.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. Is there a way we can get more email credit for premium users, especially because like we're students looking for jobs and we quickly get done with the email
15.
credits?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There is no way to do that right now. That's why the connection request is a big deal. Yeah, unfortunately. We want to make sure that we're not. The problem is we have too many nefarious people out there still, even though we eliminate 99% of fake profiles, we still have a certain small section that try to break the rules, and they just blast too many people. So that's the problem. I wish I had a better answer for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Greenfield asked a couple questions. How much sharing is enough before oversharing on your LinkedIn About section? I haven't seen anybody overshare yet, man. I just haven't. So most people undershare. If you are proud of it and you're proud of your life, you should share. If you don't feel comfortable being detailed in your work experience, just do your resume. Listen, I'm just giving you advice. If you feel less comfortable with that, then do your thing. It is your profile. You get to do what you want to do. And the skills are very important as well. The LinkedIn assessment is very important as well. The assessment, recruiters can see if you pass that. And they can actually say, I only want people that have passed this to see, I only want to see their profiles. Everybody else, I don't want to see their profiles. Everybody else that applies, they're on automatic reject. So that really helps. Adding skills helps. But putting more information on your LinkedIn profile helps more because we search every single word of that profile. Okay, that's it. Sorry, yes, sir. I'm a minute over.
Oh no, this is amazing, Ryan. I learned a lot as well. I've been using LinkedIn for a long time. I believe 2010. So I have really amazing stories. But listening to you, I learn a lot. So thank you so much. And I know that our students in the call, like from the questions, we already see that engagement and how much they care about the LinkedIn and then using the LinkedIn for their career and life design journey. So from bottom of my heart, thanks so much, Ryan, and also on behalf of Johns Hopkins University, but also the International Career Collective. Thank you.